Continuation, Chapter 3, Part 2. Of course, independence can lead to several good things. When they start having to rely on others, they feel a poor self-image, anger toward caregivers, others, or their self, feelings of helplessness, sadness, feeling of being useless, increased dependence, depression. For a good story on that one, I have a friend, she just came out of the hospital and she feels some kind of way. She's always asked for a little scooter. We go on vacations together. I'm talking about Wanda. But we go on vacations together, and she's always wanted a scooter. Let's get a scooter. Now she's acting funny. I said, come on, we'll just get a scooter. Now you really need one, because she's having some issues, heart issues, circulation. Anyway, oh, no, I don't want to get no scooter. I said, whatever. All this time before, you just must been being lazy. You must just was being lazy. Now you need one for real, and it makes her feel funny. And I told her, don't worry about that. I'll get one too. I'll ride with you. We just scoot around. But she had little feelings about it. I was like, whatever. Let's get in the scooter and go. Go all over time. Just try to prevent those feelings of feeling like that. Encourage them as much as possible. Get them to do things. Encourage self-care, regardless of how long it takes. Y'all don't rush them. Let them do what they can, and just don't rush them. Even though you have, 10 other patients you got to dress. Hopefully you won't have to dress every one of them. Somebody's going to be able to put on their clothes. The one over there puts their clothes on backwards. Then you'll have to help them. But be very aware that if they can do for themselves, you let them do as much as they can. Allow residents to make choices, even where they sit in the cafeteria, who they want to sit by, what they eat. It's really their choice. A lot of times they just do what you say anyway, or here you go, this is, tell them what's on the tray, and you just start feeding. But if they say, I want this, I'd rather that, you listen to them. That's what they want. Make sure you still treat them as adults without rushing them. Don't give them time. If they can do, even if it's slow, let them do. Cultural diversity, and you'll see that everywhere you go, even in the nursing homes. Respect people's differences. That's the way it is. You're raised one way, I was raised one way, we're in the same town. I could be your next door neighbor. I'm totally different raised than you are. We're in the same town, neighbors. Just know that people are different and treat nobody the same. Everybody's different. That's kind of what they want to say. There's so many different cultures that you cannot be listed here. American culture is different from Japanese, but within American culture, there are thousands of different groups. You got Japanese Americans, African Americans, Native Americans. Even people from a particular region, state, or city can have a different culture. The culture of the South is not the same as the culture of New York City. Just you'll see that. Some of the New York City people are just as rude, but to them that is just as natural as it comes. They are blunt and probably won't even look at you walking down the street. They'll pay you zero attention. But if you pay them too much attention, they'll swear you want to steal something, or you're looking at them for the wrong reason. And one lady actually told me, why are you looking at me like that? I said, because we look at people. And I really am not that looking person. Now here in class I do because of teaching. But like normally I don't know if you roll past me, my friend will be like, did you see so-and-so? I'm like, no, I'm not looking at people's car, or all the people walking down the road. I just don't do that. Pretty much because I'm half blind, I got to look at the road. But, just know that culture background is different. I don't know where I was going with that. Regardless of the background, all residents must be treated with respect and professionalism, even if they talk a different language. If they speak Spanish, we want to get a Spanish interpreter, or we're going to learn some Spanish. And you actually will learn. If they don't talk English or speak English, then you're going to learn some Spanish words. You can't help it, because they're going to say this, and you'll eventually, I know what that means. You might can do whatever they want all day long, because they have taught you. Because you're talking to them. You will know that patient better than anybody if that's your patient. Also, if they can't speak that language, remember on page 84, We talked about that earlier for stroke patients as well as people who cannot speak your language. They can point. And we might have been talking about language at that time, but they can point. Can I get some ice water? It looks like an ice cube melted, you know, so they can figure out, okay, that's some ice water. I want some of that. And you can try your best. Sometimes gestures, you can like, come on. Y'all know what come on means. This is come on in every language. Come on. Are you cold? You want a sweater? You want a sweater? You want a sweater? You know, gestures and things like that. You can communicate with somebody, even if y'all don't know the same language. They speak, I don't know, German. Whatever. We can gesture things out as well. Time to eat. Come on. Time to eat. Let's go. You know, and we can get them. So just know that you can do that as well. Don't think you just can't talk to them or eat with them. Many religious beliefs include dietary restrictions. These are rules of what and what follows cannot eat and drink. For example, Jewish people don't eat pork. That's when they mention Muslim. I know Muslim as well. Mormons do not eat anything or drink anything that will alter their normalness. Caffeine, they won't drink sodas, coffee, things like that. You give them juice and water, milk. But chocolate, even chocolate, they don't eat chocolate because chocolate's got caffeine in it. You know, a true one, I'm going to be, this me as a Mormon, I'm like, oh, I got to have some chocolate. I'm not worried about the coffee, but sodas, oh my God. I might not can't be a Mormon. I'll be, please, Lord, forgive me, because I got to eat this chocolate. I got to drink my Diet Coke. But just respect the religions and respect their eating preferences. You will not be given, most people get coffee every morning or whatever, not them. Just kind of figure that out too. Be culturally sensitive, and that's what we're talking about. Culture, age, family, backgrounds, all different. Just respect it. Describe the need for activity. We've talked about it a little bit. If you do not use it, you will lose it. Because if you do exercise or do walking or anything, if they can move, let's move it. If we can get them rolling, all they can do is move their arms, move their legs. Let's do that. They can't stand on their own, but we can exercise their arms and legs. And a lot of nursing homes, you'll see that their legs are missing because they want them to walk with their legs and at least use those muscles so they can get around. And you'll see a lot of them. They'll be looking like they want you to push them, but don't push them. Let them go where they need to go, unless they just say, "Can you push me?" But most of the time, they know they're going to get where they kind of go. They may be a little slow, but they'll just roll right along. And I call it the parade. To lunch and back from lunch. Just things like that is revolving all day long. But regular physical activity can lessen the risk of heart disease, relieves symptoms of depression, improves concentration, bodily function, lowers risk of falls because it works those muscles and helps those bones, improves sleep quality, gets them tired. If you don't do nothing all day, you're going to have some weird sleeping habits. But if you get tired, then you got to go to sleep and sleep good. And that's the same as you do your toddlers and 2-year-olds. Put them to work. Get them tired so they'll go to bed. And sometimes if you do that to your elderly people, because sometimes they'll have what they call sundowners. As soon as that sun go down, they wake up. They get activity. They want to run around, do everything. You need to get their times right so they can get tired during the day. Let them run around and exercise and walk down 10 feet that way. Whatever they can do, get them tired. And that's kind of the basis of it. Get them to do activity during the day so when it comes nighttime, you know, you can dim the lights down, get it quiet, so they can get the idea you're supposed to be in bed asleep. Kind of like you do your babies. Turn off the lights. They may think they can watch TV all night, but they're going. Inactivity can lead to loss of self-esteem, depression, boredom, pneumonia. That is our number one problem in nursing homes and hospitals. As long as a person is laying down, and this is what they do. They lay down forever. As a CNA, we need to move the patient right and left. If it's a family member, sit them up, sit them down, sit them up, aggravate them. But But you need them to get this moving. If they can't walk or can't get up, you need to move this some kind of way. And that's what us as a CNA, especially at nighttime, we're going to be turning them every 2 hours, no matter what. That's what night shift does. They turn those patients halfway because of pneumonia. Also pressure sores, pneumonia and pressure sores, and we're going to move them. As long as we keep a patient moving, we can bypass some pneumonias and especially pressure ulcers. So keep them moving, something, get them up, make them move. Urinary tract infection as well. If you're just sitting, laying down in that same spot, you ain't moving nothing, that bacteria is happy. See, they're just letting me grow. I'm gonna grow and grow and grow and grow. But if you was normally moving around and getting something moved around, they don't get happy because you're moving them. They like to get in a bunch and grow. But if they're separated, they don't grow as well, and you might just flush them on out if you move, if you get things doing. So make sure you do that as well. Skin breakdown can happen if they're not moving. Constipation. If you're not moving, you get constipated. Blood clots. What happens to blood when it sits still? It can clot. If you're already prone to clots, you need to move around. If anything, move your muscles, tighten them and release them. But something to make your body move your circulation. Also dulling of the senses. OBRA, which is who is over the nursing homes and programs, requires that every nursing home has an activity. Get them out. They go Easter egg hunting. They throw balls. You know what can they do? We're gonna try to get them to do. If they can hold a ball, we can get them to throw it. And all that is using muscles. Our job is to help get them there, so they can do it too. Discuss family roles and their significance in healthcare. You need to know the difference in these makeups, family makeups. A nuclear family is 2 parents and 1 or more children. So it's 2 parents and 1 or more children, and that's the the happy white picket fence people, the nuclear families. That's what they call it, nuclear families. Single parent families, that's exactly what it is, 1 parent and the children. Married or committed couples, anybody married, with or without children, and they can be girl or woman, man, just as long as they're committed couples. Extended families, that's your parents and children, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody living up under one roof. That's your extended family. Blended, it means somebody was divorced and got back together and made a happily blended family. That's the definitions of the different kinds of families that we need to know. Also, that next sentence is important. Often a family is defined more by supporting each other than by the particular people involved. As long as they're all supporting each other, as in money-wise or emotionally-wise, whatever, supporting, that makes a family. Family members help by helping residents make their care decisions, communicate with the care team, give support and encouragement, connect the resident to the outside world. Here comes family. They tell them everything that's going on in the world or with their family. Offers assurance to dying residents that family members and traditions will be carried on. Oh, I forgot I don't like this chapter. NA should be respectful to friends and family members and allow privacy for visits. If somebody upsets one of your patients, and sometimes they upset them because they love them to death and they hate they're leaving. That kind of upset, that's okay. Sometimes they're in there aggravating people. And what time is it? Always be respectful to your friends and family members and allow privacy for visits. Ask them questions. If your patient can't talk, ask them questions. Family members can help in a lot of ways. Describe the stage of human development. I'm just going to give you some things to remember. You don't have to remember everything, but I'm going to give you the things you need to remember. Throughout people's lives, people change physically and psychologically. Everyone will go through the same stages of development. And first one is infancy, birth to 12 months. Know that. Know that infancy is birth to 12 months. And then come on down, underline physical development in infancy moves from the head down. For example, infants gain control over the muscles of the neck before the muscles of their shoulders. Then, of course, they get the muscles in their legs and then they're off. That's how it works. But that is your infancy to birth. Toddlers, During the toddler years, children gain independence. Underline that. And know that toddler is 1 to 3. One part of the independence is new control over their bodies. Underline that. Toddlers learn to speak, gain coordination of their limbs, learn to control their bladders and bowels. If they have it after 3, we in trouble. We got one that don't mind boo-booing on themselves. I always mess with them too. Now you like that on yourself? What in the world? Who likes that? But try to get them done 1 to 3. Also, they assert their new independence by exploring. Underlying poisons and other hazards must be locked away, because they're going to get in it. Put it high or lock it up, get it out of the way. And at the end of there, they may try to get what they want by throwing tantrums, whining, or refusing to cooperate. And underline that this is a key time for parents to set rules and standards. Even though you don't think they know right from wrong, if you don't tell them no, or pop them, or whatever, however you do you, and that child understands that that's wrong. They might not know it's right and wrong, but I know Daddy don't like it. I know Mama don't like me to touch the oven, so they don't. They might not know what's right and wrong, but they understand what somebody don't like. It's not good to do this, and that's not good to do that. And later they learn in preschool, underline that, ages 3 to 6. That's when they're learning actually what is right and wrong. You don't have to tell them everything's right and wrong. As a toddler, maybe so. Now they're figuring it out. Well, I know, better not do that. You don't have to tell them everything, and they figure it out. They learn new words and language skills. They learn to play in groups and learn to care for themselves. I love them ages. They're so sweet. Then they turn into school-age children. Then they start playing games and playing on Roblox. Y'all know what that is? Roblox?
Yeah, with the things and then move it on and just move like
Yes, my 6th grader does that. School age is 6 to 10. Children's development is centered cognitive. Underlying cognitive means related to thinking and learning. And cognitive is going to come up again. Cognitive, cognition, all means related to thinking and learning. And social development. They get along with each other. They learn that last sentence. Conscious morals and self-esteem. That's when you get them, you praise them, make them feel good. Them toddler years, if you don't get them then, you got you a spoiled child for the rest of these years. If you don't tell them right and wrong, or don't catch them then, and all that tantrum mess and all that, if you don't catch them, you're going to pay for it all these other years. Even up to, 50 years old. But they become little spoiled children, but should have got them when they was little. And then they'll be better. Pre-adolescence, age 10 to 13. Children enjoy a growing sense of self-identity, underline self-identity and identity with their peers. My babies are doing that now, they're little 6th grader. And underline at the end, childhood fears of ghosts or monsters will give way to fears based in the real world. In other words, it's not a ghost up under the bed or in the closet. It's a ghost in that white van that keeps rolling by the house. And they realize, dangers. So they know what's really going on. Also, it's important that pre-adolescents feel able to trust in the attention and care of the parents and others. So at this time, you don't need to be lying to them, or else they're not going to trust nothing from nobody too much. And they just learn to and I kind of must be that person. You say what you say, but I'm not going to believe it until you do it. I've just learned that. That's kind of life. But you don't want it to be your parents that you think that. You want to be able to trust, and if your parents say something, they'll do it. That's why I always say, maybe we might do it. Or, don't just say yes. Say no when you can. But if you may be able to do it, I always say maybe. So I won't be lying. Adolescents 13 to 19, underlying sex characteristics. And underlying adolescence, that paragraph, although it varies, it generally occurs between the ages of 10 and 14 for girls, 12 and 16 for boys. Puberty. And that's when they start making those sexual reproductive hormones, start growing hair if they don't already have hair. In other places. All the things that happen in those ages. Girls actually do grow up before fellas. Peer acceptance is important to them. Underline that. That's in that next sentence or next paragraph. Also, all the hormones that's happening in their body actually do give them rapid mood swings. They can be sad one minute, sad the next, or happy the next, and then all down and out the next. But that's normal. I want to choke them. Those choking ages, just choke them up. But looking sitting right in front of you. But they tend to think the parents don't know too much, because we grew it up in a whole different. We don't know electronics and stuff like that so much. We learn differently. But those mood swings is natural. Don't think there's nothing wrong with it. It's natural. Pressures develop as they remain dependent on their parents and yet need to express themselves socially and sexually. This causes conflict and stress. And they really think they can do for themselves, but they can't because they're still living with mama, or they don't have a good job, they can't pay their own rent, but they want to. So that's that age between 13 and 19. Then we go to young adulthood, which is 19 to 40. That's a lot of ages right there. But physical growth is normally done. They've grown. They're doing good. And at this time, adopting a healthy lifestyle will make you much better when you get older. Try to eat right, do right, or else you will pay for it when you get older, in your older years. Middle adulthood, just know them ages, 40 to 65. These people are more comfortable and stable. But at this time, metabolism goes down, wrinkles, gray hairs, all that stuff starts to come on out. That's true. I feel my face falling at 47. My jaws are falling. I'm going to get them put back up, though.
Really?
Like that. But all that starts to happen. And if the worse you took care of yourself from the earlier years, the worse these years are going to be. Late adulthood, 65 years and older. And underline lots of aging difficulties. Things still work, they're just aging. Getting older. Things getting older, wearing out. Just like your car wears out, it gets old, so does your body. Underline it deals entirely with loss. A lot of that, sometimes it seems to deal entirely with loss. You done made it to 80, you done seen a lot of people die before you. Later adulthood covers anywhere from 25 and 35 years after that. That is those people, they living well. Some live in a nursing home, but not everybody old goes to the nursing home. There's so many grandmothers sitting at home taking care of great-grandchildren, babysitting for them, while everybody else is at work, but they chilling. I would not be taking care of children when I'm 85 years old. They better be grown. You come visit me. I play with them. I love on them, but don't be. I'm not feeding and taking them to school and doing all that. I just hope not. I want them to come and visit. Things like that. But just know that most older people are not in the nursing home. Everybody just wants to go automatically there, and that's not true. Most are still, or else we would have nursing homes 10 stories long or tall. They're everywhere. If you look in your community, you will see them. Go to Hardee's in the morning. I was like, golly, what? They didn't tell me about this place. So I know where to go when I get older. I wake up early in the morning because a lot of them will wake up early because they went to bed early. So they wake up, they go to Hardee's. But these things you do need to know and underline these. This is important. Normal change of aging. And you're going to have to remember all of these because there's going to be test questions for you to Tell me what's not normal. So normal changes is skin is thinner, drier, more fragile, and less elastic. Underline that. A lot of people think less elastic means that they're getting wrinkles, and no, that means that is less elastic. But more elastic is what you have when you're younger. Less elastic is your wrinkles and stretching skin. Muscles weaken and lose tone. Bones lose density and become more brittle. These things are going to happen. Sensitivity of nerve endings decrease. Especially this one. Underline that one twice. Responses and reflexes slow. We got to watch them. Just as simple as, I might touch I a pan. And I touched it. But it didn't burn me. But I felt the pain, but it didn't burn me. An older person might touch it, and they don't jump as fast. So they will have damage. So that's another reason why we watch our older people too. Their reflexes are slower. Short-term memory loss occurs. That's already happening. Senses of vision, hearing, taste, touch, and smell weaken. Heart works less efficiently. Didn't mean it stops. It's just not working as good. Oxygen in the blood decreases. Appetite decreases. I'm working on that. I'm waiting on that. When does that happen? It should. We'll see. Underline these twice, 3 times. Urinary elimination is more frequent. That's why we're checking them every 2 hours. We're going to make sure, especially if they're incontinent, keep them dry. So we got to keep watch them and check them. As we turn them, we're checking them. Turn them, check them. And then do all that at the same time, and you live a happy life in your nursing home. Levels of hormones decrease. Immunity weakens. So I always say keep the sick people away from my old people. Don't come in there sick. I don't mind you calling in. If you're sick, don't come in here getting old people sick. We're going to have a lot more troubles with them than you can sit home for a day and get right. Lifestyle changes occur. What is not considered normal changes is depression, underline depression, loss of ability to think logically. That's not normal. Poor nutrition is not normal. Shortness of breath is not normal. And incontinence is not normal. And a lot of people say, oh, that's normal. Old people are. All old people don't get it. And Lord, I don't mean to talk like that. Older people don't have to be incontinent. You're saying right now, as you're 19 years old, that you're going to have to be incontinent when you get older. But that's not true. Everybody's not incontinent. So don't put that. That is something happened. Some disease happened. Maybe a stroke happened. Something happened. Discuss development disabilities. Know what development disabilities is. It's disabilities that are present at birth or emerge during childhood. That is what you're born with. They're disabilities that are present at birth or emerge during childhood. And that's what we call them now, intellectual disabilities. We don't call them, other words would be mentally retarded, MR. We want to call them intellectual disability. It's a type of development disability. It's neither disease nor mental illness. People with intellectual disability develop at a below average rate. They have below average mental functioning. They have difficulty learning, communicating, moving, and it's different degrees. Some can be high functioning and then most functioning. You just have to, they do tests and figure out where they're at on that scale. Some can even live on their own, but they're mentally retarded. I always say I have an uncle, well, my boyfriend's uncle, must be MR. Because at one point he could hold a job and he went to work and did everything, but every time there's an argument or something like that, he always acted a little extra. And for a man, it's just odd. And he just took everything to the limits. Like, he stabbed my boyfriend in the leg because he said his fish was bigger. And he was arguing because his fish was bigger. And they were arguing, but you don't pull out a knife and cut somebody because my fish is bigger. What else he did? Oh, Thanksgiving time. I bought all the little injections for the turkey, and that last one, which was his turkey, didn't get all the injectors, so he wanted to argue and say that the turkey before him was his. No, before that one was his, and it happened to be when I bought it, so it's not yours. And I put the injection in, so don't mess with my turkey. But So my boyfriend got involved, but he wanted to fight. I mean, they literally fought, almost poured the grease out on everybody, on themselves. They on the ground. I picked up a 2x4s. I about to hit him. Don't hit him. But he is a grown mental retarded person. That's all I got to say. They grow up, and sometimes they're the best people as far as going to work. They like to go to work. They'll pay bills. But when it comes to making decisions or reacting appropriately, they don't. They make wrong decisions and they react wrong. And that tells the tale. And you'll see them. So people you're going to school with right now who are in the special class, they're probably going to find a job and stay on it for 20 years. They're probably making more money than you because they've been on it for 20 years. And go to work every day, but when it comes to decision making or when things don't go right, they act a little strange. They're not going to, if they're higher functioning, they can live in a community and you wouldn't know it until things don't go right, or you don't agree with them, or things like that. Then they act real crazy. Then you're gonna have some of your friends, probably around 22, 23, 24, those ages there. Some of them gonna get schizophrenic where they hear voices, and you're gonna be like, somebody put something in their drink. They don't put nothing in their drink. Sometimes it happens, but most of that is cause whatever. That's the ages where schizophrenia normally comes out, and that's what they always say. Oh, somebody put something in their drink, but that's the schizophrenic years when they come out, right at the end of high school, right at the end, and during the college years. Actually, when it comes out. You would have never known it going through school or nothing. They're just normal, and but some kind of this synapses in your head that something happens, and there you go. You're gonna find them in a mental institution somewhere. Walking the road somewhere later on in life. You just wonder, wow, what's wrong with you? What happened? But that's what happened. Intellectual disability, treat adults as adults because they are adults, even whatever their age or however they act. Praise and encourage them, help teach ADLs. Sometimes they are slower learners, and not that they can't learn, but you just have to tell them 1,000 times or get them to keep doing something. Repetition. They love repetition, and they will do that. Promote independence, encourage social interaction, repeat words, and be patient. Describe some types of mental illness. Of course, we got depression. A lot of people say they're depressed. You can be depressed. You can be sad. That's normal. But to have that diagnosis, depression, that means you just can't enjoy life, period. A lot of people get depressed. You get sad. Your mom passed. You get sad. Depressed, even. But as long as you come out of it healthy, you're okay. A lot of people don't want to say that that's normal, but it's normal to be sad when you're supposed to be sad. But when it continues, or when you can't get right, or it's something you feel, then it's time to go get some medication. But don't think you're feeling or you're wrong or something's wrong with you because you're sad a long time because your mom passed, or you're sad a long time, and that's me. I'm talking about me. Stayed sad a long time, and I still think about her. But I'm not depressed. I'm sad, like normal people. You're gonna be sad. You get angry when angry things happen. That's normal. That don't classify yourself like that. And but clinical depression, they can feel pain. They just have headaches, stomach pain, body aches, and when they're really clinically depressed, these people don't want to get out of bed. They just want to stay there. They don't want to deal with things, and that's where they stay. They have low energy. They have apathy or lack of interest in activity. They don't want to go do nothing. Things that they used to love to do, they don't want to do anymore. Irritability, anxiety, loss of appetite, or opposite, they overeat. Problems with sexual functioning and desire. Sleepiness, trouble sleeping, lack of attention to their personal care. When you see people who normally, I'm not the pretty person, but at least I will put on my clothes or comb my hair, bathe. When you see your friends not doing things like that, and you know that they normally do. Something's wrong. Go talk to your friend. Something's up. What's going on? I know your hair's done. What's going on? Sometimes it just me. I ain't got no money. You gonna pay for my hair to get done? That's what you want to hear. But sometimes they're sad. Need some help. Intense feelings of despair, guilt, trouble concentrating, withdrawal, isolation, and repeated thoughts of suicide and death. All of that is clinical depression. Then you got major depressive disorder. It may cause a person to lose interest in everything they once cared about. And it's kind of same thing as clinical depression. They just give it another name, and they might have something that goes along with it. Why they call it major depressive disorder. Bipolar. Everybody thinks they got bipolar, but a real bipolar person, we're gonna know it. You know, I think I'm bipolar, and that just means I am mad, and I can be sad, and I can be happy all in 2 minutes. That's not real bipolar. Bipolar means I am up on the walls. I am all that, and I am number one. I am that person for 6 months, 4 to 6 months. Then after that, they can't get out of bed. Then they become that depressed person that don't like anything. They don't like nothing about themselves. They just are bad off. That's a true bipolar person. All that being mad and mean, and that's normal. That's you. That's how you are. You're not bipolar. When you're on top of the world, a lot of people spend a lot of money and make terrible decisions when they're on top. They get real. Their ego gets big, and they just think they're important to everybody, and then the opposite of that. That's why they call it bipolar. When you go way up like that, and then way down. A lot of bipolar people go crazy and buy a lot of stuff or stuff like that, and then feel real bad for months. Not just today. Today I've been happy, sad, mad. That's not bipolar. That is normal. So don't give everybody diagnosis. Then they go trying to get some medication, and it ain't gonna fix them. They still gonna be the same person. People cannot overcome depression through sheer will. Just underline that. And underline any suicide threat should be taken seriously and reported immediately. You're in healthcare now. Somebody tells you that they think they want to kill themselves, you need to report it to somebody else. You don't leave that on you and then go home, and then next day you come find out they killed themselves. But because we're going to put them on a watch, we're going to do something. Anxiety is exactly what that is. Something causes anxiety. If you have a phobia, that's an intense form of anxiety or fear from something. Something's happening. Claustrophobia. I'm kind of a little claustrophobia. Everywhere I go, I probably got a window down or a door open or some windows, because I don't like to feel closed in. That's your claustrophobia. They may have a panic disorder where people they just think something's going bad, something's going to happen, and they have a panic disorder. Obsessive compulsive disorder is a disorder characterized by excessive behavior or thoughts. They call that OCD. And a lot of times they relate that to people who always, they're kind of phobic of germs, and they're always washing their hands. But it's things that people do. Shake your legs. My legs, shake it again. But it's something that you just do over and over and over. Fingernails, biting your fingernails, half of that, all that. Post-traumatic stress disorder, that's what it is. Something happened, and it's afterwards, and things can trigger post-traumatic stress disorder. You can smell something. It depends on what happened that made you have that. Schizophrenia, it's a brain disorder that affects a person's ability to think and communicate. A lot of times they see or hear things that are not there, and you need to know the difference in those as well. Schizophrenia is the brain disorder. They don't think clearly. They may see hallucinations or delusions. You're going to need to know the difference of those. A hallucination is actually you see something. Do y'all see Michael Jackson standing right there?
No.
Y'all see him? That's a hallucination. I believe I'm Michael Jackson. Jackson is a delusion. I am Michael Jackson's wife. And you can't tell me no different. That is a delusion. Hallucination is seeing things. Them people are following me. I just know it. That's a delusion. You know, there's space people in the sky talking through my brain. That's a delusion. Now, if they say they see the space people, that's a hallucination. Know the difference between hallucination and delusion. Paranoid schizophrenia, that's exactly what it is. They are paranoid. They think things are after them when they're really not. Always observe your residents carefully. Report any kind of weird stuff going on, and try not to let them hurt themselves. Sometimes it's okay. You believe that. I don't see no Michael Jackson. Whatever. Let's go take a bath. You know, we're not worried about that. We're gonna have to take care of you though. Sometimes though, we can also give medications and psychotherapy. Know that definition. It's a method of treating mental illness that involves talking about one's problems with mental health professionals. That's them laying on the sofa, talking about their problems. That is psychotherapy. Sometimes we can fix things like that. Or medications. A lot of times with the schizophrenia patient, medications. Behavior patients, psychotherapy. You can try to talk them into acting right. Observe and report any positive, negative changes. If they really start feeling real bad and you know they already tried to commit suicide before, watch them, because you don't want that to happen again. Behavior changes, even comments or even jokes about hurting themselves. Any failures to take their medications. Intellectual disability and mental illness. Just underline that part. It is a difference. Intellectual disability is where, you know, they grew up like that. Something happened in development. Mental illness, that's your depression. We can give medication for mental illness. We can try to fix that. Mental disability, we can't fix that. We can try to help them learn. But a mental illness, we can give medication. We can do things like that to help fix mental illness. Y'all remember what terminal illness means? Terminal means if they've given some kind of diagnosis that this is going to cause you to die. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she studied and wrote about the grief process. Underline that first sentence. The grief process by Miss Kubler-Ross. And you go through denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Anger. So DABDA, and I've learned this in all of my nursing programs, this does not go away. From CNA to LPN to RN. They're still going to go through the same thing, and you're going to learn this. DABDA, D-A-B-D-A. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. They deny it at first, then they get angry, why me? Then they bargain, well, let me live to see my grandbabies graduate. Depression, and then it's kind of settling in, okay, I'm done. And then they finally accept it. And that's where we want our patients to be. Acceptance, and it's okay. You know, this is what's happening to me, and be okay with it. But you also need to know what a living will is. A living will outlines the medical care a person wants or does not want in case he or she becomes unable to make those decisions. So you write a will out, and this is you while you're living, you make these decisions. But if you got knocked out today and you went to the hospital, you have this will that you can give somebody. This is what she wanted. That's a living will. Now I know what a durable power of attorney is. That's giving somebody else that choice to make that decision for you. That's you telling your sister, you know, if I'm unconscious or if I'm on tubes or whatever, you can unplug me. That's you giving those people those rights to do that for you. And do not resuscitate. That is a paper you sign. It says, if I go out, do not resuscitate me. CPR. Do not give me CPR. That's what that means. DNR. And a lot of people in your nursing homes sign a DNR. I don't want to sign a DNR. Get me back until I just don't want to come back. So those are called advanced directives. A living will is in advance of this happening. You wrote this out. Durable power of attorney. In advance, you say that my sister make these decisions. And in advance, do not resuscitate me if I go out. Those are advanced directives. Know those definitions. And then death. People deal with death very differently. Depends on who you are, how you are. I kind of get real straight, stone looking when it's my family members. Sometimes I'll boo cry. It just really depends. I don't know if it's the person or how I'm feeling, but don't think, and I always say that, just because somebody does not break down, it, I don't know, because their brother, mother, sister, daughter passed, sometimes they're trying to be strong for themselves so they won't break down and go into depression. You know, they're trying to hold it together. So, and people act different. So don't judge people how they act. I've heard that. Or whatever, she didn't even stop. She went to work all them days. She only stayed out for the funeral. Probably because she didn't want to stay home and deal with it. So she went to work so she wouldn't have to deal with it. And then stayed out because of the funeral because she had to go. You know, some people just go straight out the other way. You know, they've been crying for 10 days. When they gonna get over that? You know, nobody's gonna be happy with whatever. But you can't judge people by how they react. Know that caring for a dying resident, they will have diminished senses, and underlying hearing is usually the last sense to leave the body. So always talk to your patient. Always talk to them. They can't hear you, may not, but it's been proven. The people that's even came out from that when they thought they were dying, and they came back, you know, they could hear. They could hear. I heard you say this, or I heard, and that's where they get all that from. It's the truth. We still got to care for the mouth. Underline caring for the mouth every 2 hours. Their mouth will get dry. They'll start getting that build up if you don't clean them out. Every 2 hours. Which that's a whole lot more than we give them when they're walking around. But when they stop, we're gonna do every 2 hours. Skin care, just as if they were walking around, or you know, if we were turning them, we're still gonna turn them. We're gonna try not to let them have any pain. Environment, trying to put pictures and stuff, things that they enjoy. Put the TV channel on, the TV show they like to watch, or the music on that they like to hear. And this is at the end. Emotional, spiritual support. Make sure you treat the residents with dignity. Don't avoid them. Don't. They have the right to refuse treatment. They don't want treatment, fine. I hate to hear it, but some of them just say, no, I'm just done. I'm good. They do have a right to any visitors they want. A right to privacy, that never goes away. And y'all can read this one. This makes me cry every time I read it, so I'm not reading it. The Dying Person's Bill of Rights. So make sure y'all read that. It's going to make you say it. But it's something you should read because you don't think about dying people thinking those things. And this was from somebody who was dying, and this was the rights, and they developed this for their rights. Respect their wishes. Don't isolate them. Still take them around if you can. Get them places. Get them. Be careful not to make promises that you can't keep. Involve them in activities if you can, and listen to them. Sometimes they just want to talk about the past. Underline, do not babble or act especially cheerful or sad. Be professional. You are that person. You are that CNA who's going to encourage them people in the nursing home, and you're going to encourage them every morning. Good morning, morning, morning. But if you say you're a hospice CNA, and you coming into my mama's house, and you all really super happy, and I want you to tone it down just a little bit. My mama is passing. I need a little respect. You can be happy and laughing. Not here. You need to take that somewhere else. Be happy somewhere else. And that's kind of how family members will feel. You just don't go in there too happy. Be your friendly, professional self. Not over the top happy. But in a nursing home, I mean, that's what you do. That is your job. Encourage her. Let's do this. Let's get it going. Just know where you're at. That's all. Assure privacy still for family members and visitors. Help the visitors, and this is at their last days. Help the visitors. Give them a chair. If you can find chairs for the visitors where they can just sit. Some people don't want to say a word. Some people want to say a whole speech to the dying person. Some people just want to be there and with the other family members. It really depends. You got a whole lot of things going on, and just respect them. Signs of approaching death: blurred, failing vision, unfocused eyes, impaired speech, diminished sense of touch, loss of movement, muscle tone, the rising or below normal body temperature. A lot of times it'll either rise or go real low, especially real low. Decrease in blood pressure, weak pulse. Then they have that weird breathing, and they call it Shane-Stokes respirations. Underline that. It's already bolded, but know that it is rapid, shallow, direct respirations, alternated with slow, irregular. So it's You know, it's because they're not breathing as well, and everybody dies of congestive heart failure in the end because all your organs start dying, and it comes up in your chest. I always say if on my death certificate it says congestive heart failure, I want another diagnosis. You gonna tell me why I got congestive heart failure? I don't care. Everybody dies of congestive heart failure because your lungs, everything starts not working, and then it backs up into your lungs, and then you die. Yeah. Everybody dies of that. I want another diagnosis. What caused my congestive heart failure? You know, this heart had heart attack, and a good one would tell you then. Left-sided heart failure led to congestive heart failure. A rattling or gurgling sound, that's how they kind of sound. That's kind of that Shane Stokes deal. But that's that actually, yes, that's that stuff actually building up in the lungs. It's not getting exchanging. Cold, pale skin, mottling or bruised appearance, they get darker and darker. Perspiration, incontinence, both urine and stool. Even if they hadn't urinated in a while or had a bowel movement, they will have a bowel movement. It's like their body getting ready, cleaning itself out, I'm about to go. And I actually thought it was a good sign when I seen a friend pass. And I really thought that it was a good sign, like, oh, it's working. Everything's working again. That's not the case. It's everything. It's like your body just wants to clean itself out. A lot of the lungs start cleaning out. Everything. It's like everything is trying to get out of the way. Then they're going into rigor mortis. Underline that. Stiffness of death. Underline rigor mortis, stiffness of death. That's all it means. They're getting stiff. Then we go into a post-mortem care. You want to bathe the body, be gentle, because they can bruise really easily at that point. They're going to have draining pads everywhere because, again, you know, everything's trying to come out. Don't remove any tubes. Let the nurse or somebody do that. This is but they pass. Put dentures in the back of the mouth, possibly, or by their side. They need to be somewhere because they, you know, as they bury them, a lot of them have their dentures in. Sometimes nowadays they've been taking their dentures out and doing whatever they do to the mouth. But dentures is always good. I want my dentures so I can smile. I'm gonna be that one, and I want y'all to make me smile. Take the little thing I can climb. And then, well, Cheryl smiling. Who did that? That's how she died, smiling. Close the eyes carefully, because sometimes that rigor mortis will make your eyes stiff. So you got to go ahead and close their eyes, or else they get stuck. All their body parts could get stuck, wherever they were at. So try to close their eyes so they can stay closed. Arms should be folded just like they're laying in a casket over their chest. I've seen some be over their chest like this or on their stomach. Really just depends. I think guys more down, but the females be up. I don't know. I think it depends. Yeah. Always strip the bed, clean the whole room, open the windows, doors. They always say if you do not open a window, then their spirit gets trapped. That's just a saying. But we open the doors and try to get air in because it's like a sense of death when somebody passes. But that's what they say. Open a window, open a door or something so the spirit can't be trapped in that room. Document whatever you need to do with. Again, people deal with grief differently. Some are shock, denial, anger, guilty, regret. Some are in relief, like a lot of pain and suffering is over. It's time to party because I know she went to heaven. That's just kind of how people feel. And you want to go there and be there, even as a family member, be relieved that she's in a better place. Hospice care, we already know. What is that? How many months? They say you got to live. I don't know why we buried them, and now we put them back in the hospice care. This is really backwards. But yes, that's what they should fix. Hospice care, 6 months or less to live. We're doing whole care, caring for the whole person. At this point, but more doing palliative care. This is very important in this chapter with hospice. palliative care, that definition you need to know. It's comfort, dignity, and pain relief. Comfort and dignity is above it, and pain relief is up under it. But put them all together. Comfort, dignity, and pain relief. That is what we call palliative care. They get what they want. Give them what they want. You know, a diabetic gets whatever they couldn't eat. That cake that they couldn't have. Now they get to eat that cake. Things like that. And that's what it is. They diagnose, okay, you're gonna pass. Then you want to give them what they can. Pain relief, you don't want them in pain. Always for your hospice person, you want to be a good listener. They may still be just talking to you, just like I'm talking to you, until it really gets on them. Respect privacy. I've seen a lady on hospice 3 years, 4 years, and they ain't died yet. You know, but normally when they say hospice, that means, you know, we expect you to die in 6 months, and it's a different kind of care. But that lady ain't passed yet, and it just really depends on the person. Be sensitive to individual needs. Be aware of your own feelings. Try not to be crying in front of all your patients. Recognize the stress. Take good care of yourself, and allow yourself to grieve. And that's the end of the chapter. We got those community resources. Those are wonderful numbers. If you got anybody old or elderly, those what you want to give them some good numbers right there.